Howdy, y'all. Well, we did some work on the Marlin 20. We got it pillar bedded. We got this action bedded in. We found a lot of problems with it. A lot of problems. I'll show some video here in a minute of it. One of the things I found was, the first thing I started out with on this was I checked headspace on it. I made me a couple of, that's can't remember which one's which now, but one of these is up 43 and one's 51. That's minimum and maximum headspace. It would close on a 51. I mean, it was snug, but it would close. So I did a little adjustment on that, and on this particular gun, this head rotates here. It had slop in it. I mean, so what I done was I went ahead and disassembled the bolt. Needed cleaning anyway. It was pretty nasty in there, and I kept looking and figuring out stuff. Checked the depth from this face down to the actual bolt face, and it's right where it should be, about 43. So if this is touching the face of the barrel, I mean, that's minimum, but it's not. I think this thing's just been open and closed so many times that it wore out these faces right here, and then back here where your lug rides on here. I think it's just worn down that much. So basically, I made me a 5,000 shim. So if the 51 closed on it and I took 5 on it, it should be down to about 46. So it should theoretically be within specs now. And it will not close on the 51 anymore, but it still closes on the 43. The next thing I done was the trigger. Took the trigger out, cleaned it, did a little honing on it, nothing crazy, just making sure there was no burrs on it or anything like that, and I changed the spring on it. So let's do a trigger pull test on it right now. I don't have a snap cap, so I'm only going to do this maybe twice. Okay. £1 pound 9 ounce. That was 1 pound 0.04 ounce. Well, I'll do it one more time. I pulled it at a little bit different angle that second pull. 1 pound 7 ounces. So we definitely improved the trigger. It even feels better. Okay, so here's the pillar bed I made. Now, I made it a little long is what I done, and what I did would put this thing together. You know, put the pillar in there. You got to put this on because it goes on top. It's not inlaid like some of them are. And put a screw in it, and what it do is it would be holding it up, and you could feel it rocking. So what I'd do is I'd take it back out. I'd take 5 thousandths off of it, put it back together until I got it to where it just quit rocking, and that's where I stopped. Well, I take that back now. What I done was I was messing with it and like that, doing that, and you can see obviously right here is where it was touching, right here it was touching, and right out here was touching. But you see that big old black spot right there, that big hole looking thing? The pin that holds this barrel in, it was protruding out the side of this by quite a bit. I mean, over a 1/16 of an inch. And I filed that off, got it nice and smooth, made sure nothing else was sticking out like that. And then when I reinstalled it, well, that changed everything, because now everything's shifted to a different position because it's not being pushed that way. So anyway, I've got it down to where I want it, basically. So we're going to be epoxying this thing in, and then we'll let that set 24 hours, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to epoxy in the bedding area. So that's where we're at right now. There is a gap on this side. If y'all can see that or not. There's a small gap there on that plate, but on this side there's not. So we're going to take a little bit off of this wood and make that fit better. It chipped on me right there. Don't care if I'm not going to sand any more than I have to, but if I have to do a little touch up, I mean, I already got to do some, I will. Okay, so we got the pillar bed, pardon me there with the camera, got the pillar bed all epoxied in. It's nice and stiff now, and then we bedded in the action itself. Now this is the first time I've ever done one, and I think it come out pretty good. Wished I had gotten a little bit more right there, but it's enough there. The epoxy flowed up into the holes from where those pins, that barrel pin is. I'm gonna leave it for right now. Same thing as this little hump right here. Basically it flowed up into this area right here. Don't think it's going to hurt anything. We'll test it here in a minute when we assemble it. I went ahead and put a little bit of birchwood bluing on a couple spots on here that was underneath here. Got that taken care of. But let's assemble it. All right, she's all together. Everything's functioning. Magazine goes in, and we're going to do a piece of paper test here. No touching at all. So I think we did pretty good there. Okay, so we got the Monstrum Hornet mounted back up on it. Everything's ready to go. We're ready to go to the range with it, and then I'm gonna decide what I want to do later on the stock. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go ahead and sand her down and put a new finish on it. So yeah, we changed that spring out in the trigger. Got that headspace taken care of. All the funky bedding and things going on there, we got all that fixed up. I think we might got this thing maybe able to shoot. I don't know. We'll be getting to the range very soon with this, and first thing I got to do is I want to rim sort some ammo. So I got me made me a gauge. I know everybody else buys stuff, but when you work in a machine shop, you can make your own. All right, so another thing here, my little headspace gauge I made. I'm setting on 0. So that's 43 thousandths. Now I can, when I do my sorting, it's just should be just everything that's minus. It shouldn't be anything over 43 anyway, so we'll just sort by what's minus. How minus the thickness is. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this, and thanks for watching, everybody. See y'all at the range soon.